Parshas Miketz, Shabbos Chanukah, Tavshin Ayin Tes. And really, I need to apologize a little bit to Parshas Miketz because inevitably when it comes to this week, we speak much more about the Yom Tov of Chanukah. It's a once-a-year opportunity that we get to really speak about Chanukah. And it's always a beautiful experience for me to say a shir on and about Chanukah. Especially, we're coming up to a Shabbos Chanukah, where we have both Shabbos and Chanukah together. And we know Shabbos and Nesivos Shalom is held in such high regard, and we speak so much about Shabbos. And this week, we have even some more icing on the cake, where we have Rosh Chodesh, and Shabbos, and Chanukah, Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah. I don't know how you could get much more spiritually high than that. We're going to take out and use 3 Sifrei Torah in Shul this Shabbos. So what a very, very holy day and a holy week. And the focus of our shir is going to be mostly about Chanukah. And the Rambam tells us in Perek Dalet of Hilchos Chanukah, Mitzvahs Ner Chanukah, the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah, mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'od. The mitzvah of Ner Chanukah is chaviva, it's beloved. A beautiful, beautiful mitzvah. This is what the Rambam says, and the Rambam continues and he tells us something very interesting. A halacha about Chanukah. V'tzorich adam lihizoyer. A person has to be very, very careful. Lihizor ba kedei lohidia haneis ulohisib bishvach hakel, to make the nes, the miracle of Chanukah, known and to say out the praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'hodoya, and to have hodah for Hashem, al hanisim she'asa lanu, for the miracles that were done for us. And I'm quoting the Rambam here, remember? And the Rambam says, afilu ein loi ma yoichal. A person does not have what to eat. Elo min tzedakah. If a person, the only thing he has is from tzedakah. Shoyel, he needs to borrow. Oy moicher kesusa, he has to sell his articles of clothing. V'loy keach shemen v'neiros. And with that money that you get from selling your possessions, you go ahead, and with that money, you buy oil, and you buy neiros, umadlika, and you light them. What an unbelievable halacha in the Rambam. Mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'od. It's a beloved mitzvah. And you have to know that there's a responsibility with this mitzvah. We have to go out, and we have to talk about the nes. And we have to give hodah to Hashem on the nes. And you even have to sell your possessions to go out and buy what you need for Neiros Chanukah. And the Nesivos Shalom asks on this. First of all, what is this mitzvah chaviva? What does it mean that this mitzvah of Chanukah, the Rambam says, is a mitzvah chaviva? What does it mean? Chaviva hi ad ma'od. And we know that when anybody who has heard Lamdish Shiurim, you know that when we talk about the Rambam is extremely medaktek in his lashon. Every word of the Rambam is thought out 100 times, and there are books and svarim and shiurim and so many things said on one word of the Rambam, the way he phrases something and the terminology that the Rambam uses. So if the Rambam says mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'od, it must mean something very, very great. And why, the question is also, this is written in Hilchos Chanukah, the Rambam is not, this is not a Musar Sefer, the Rambam writes in the actual halacha of Chanukah, the Rambam writes in that it's a mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'od. And of course, we can ask, once we're talking about chaviva hi ad ma'od, we know that every mitzvah should really be, why is the Rambam singling out this mitzvah? Every mitzvah, not just the mitzvah of Chanukah, is given by chavivos. Every mitzvah is chaviv. So why do we mention it by Neiros Chanukah? There must be a very, very special reason and a special lesson here. And the Nesivos Shalom brings from the Sefer Ma'or Einayim for Reb Nachum Chernobyl, Zchus Yagan Aleinu, And he observes that the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah, one of the halachos in the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah, is that we light the Neres Chanukah lemato me'asora. It is, we light the menorah below 10 tfachim. And that's very interesting. You know why? Because the Gemara, Masechta Sukkah, Daf Hey Amud Aleph, tells us that the Shekhinah never goes down and never went down below 10 tfachim. So the halacha of Neres Chanukah is that we light Neres Chanukah only below 10 tfachim, even though, despite the fact that the Gemara Masechta Sukkah tells us that the Shekhinah never goes down below 10 tfachim. And here by Chanukah, we say Dafka, light below 10. That shows us something very special. You know what that shows us, says in the Nesivos Shalom, from the Sefer Ma'orei Einayim? You know, it shows us that Hashem acts differently on Chanukah. There's a different set of rules on Chanukah. And what Chanukah shows us is that as low, quote, as we may think a person is, and as low as a person may think that they've gone, you're never lost. Chanukah shows us that even something that's never done, the Shekhinah never goes below 10. But on Chanukah it's different. Because on Chanukah, even if you're lower than low, even if people perceive you to be as low, but Hashem has a different set of rules on Chanukah. The light of Chanukah will light up even below 10 tfachim. The Gemara Masechta Shabbos, the Chaf Aleph Amud Beis tells us, Pesilos u'shmanim, wicks and different type and oil. She'amru chachamim, that the chachamim told us, ein madlikim behem b'Shabbos. There are certain wicks and certain oils, whether they smell bad or whether they don't burn a quality burn, they're of low quality. The Gemara tells us that there are certain oils and certain wicks that we do not use. We do not use them to light on Shabbos. The Gemara tells us, but madlikim bohem b'Chanukah. Those wicks that the Gemara tells us we cannot use on Shabbos, you can light those on Chanukah, bein b'Shabbos, bein b'Chol. You can light those, Neres Chanukah, you can light them on for Shabbos and Chol. We can use those oils and those wicks. This too, says in Nesivos Shalom, is a remez. It alludes to the fact that sometimes even the strong light of Shabbos cannot reach certain places. We know how great Shabbos is, the light of Shabbos, how holy we become, how holy everything becomes on Shabbos. But there are still wicks and there are still oils, there are still things that you can't use, that Shabbos will not reach that. But the light of Chanukah, you could light with those oils and those wicks, even though we know them to ordinarily to be inferior, but on Chanukah, that doesn't count. On Chanukah, we look away. The light of Chanukah surpasses and goes to a different level than any other lighting. It transcends the laws that we have for Shabbos of what a person can light for their Shabbos. And the Avodas Yisrael tells us that the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah, we know in Chutz La'aretz, many people do not conduct themselves this way for many reasons, because over the years in Europe, in different places where it was actually dangerous and a sakana to light outside, so our minhag became generally that we light Ner Chanukah indoors. But the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah is actually to light outside. Light the Ner Chanukah, not in your house, but to light it outside. And this too, says in the Nesivos Shalom from the Avodas Yisrael, from the Koshnitzer, that this too alludes to the fact that even for someone that we consider them out, they've done things, they are places, we consider this person out. But Ner Chanukah has the power to light up even for that person. Neres Chanukah, where do you light them? We light them below 10. We light them out of the house. We light them outside to show that Neres Chanukah can lead the way and light up for people that we consider below, and we consider them out. We paskin like Beis Hillel, as we know, that each and every day of Chanukah we add more light, and everybody could grab on to a little bit light sometime during Chanukah. And Beis Hillel says, that's where we are. Just start. Just grab on to a little bit light, and every day we'll add on a little bit light. And we paskin, like Beis Hillel, you begin to grow from that little bit of light. And this says in the Nesivos Shalom, is why the Rambam calls the mitzvah Ner Chanukah a mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'od. You know why? Because it shows the great chavivus, the great love that Hashem has for Klal Yisrael. That He wants every single one of us, and He'll light the way up, even for those who we may think, even for those who seem to be far. And every year on Chanukah, it's not just from Chanukah back then, so many years ago. Every year on Chanukah, this original idea and this original light of Chanukah, this original light from the Nes Chanukah, it comes back around. It comes back down, Lamata Me'atzara on Chanukah. This same light of back then, of the Nes Chanukah, is still here for every one of us to tap into and use every Chanukah to light the way for us. And it's the same thing outside the door. It's below 10 and it's outside the door. And the Rambam is coming to tell us by Chaviva Hi Ad Ma'od, not that this mitzvah is Chaviva Hi compared to other mitzvahs. We don't start weighing mitzvahs. This mitzvah is more chaviv, this mitzvah is more chashuv, this mitzvah is bigger, smaller. None of us really know. A lot of the mitzvahs that we put such a big deal into, we don't know what how Hashem sees every mitzvah. But Chaviva Hi Ad Ma'od is telling us that it's a mitzvah of chavivas. It's a mitzvah that shows us the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu for every single Jew. The mitzvah of Chanukah is chaviv because within that mitzvah we get to see the love that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has for every one of us. And this is how HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows the love. And we need to reciprocate and treat this mitzvah with the great chavivas. It is so chashuv to HaKadosh Baruch Hu because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets the opportunity to show us how much He loves every one of us, and we have to turn around and reciprocate. And even a person has to even sell their possessions to be mekayim this mitzvah. That's how important it is for us to internalize this lesson. And we need to think of this yontiv of Chanukah as a yontiv of unconditional love. And I'm not getting into now whether, yes, you show somebody, always show somebody unconditional love. It's not my job, and that's not what I'm here to do. But what we're here to say is that on Chanukah, Hashem shows us unconditional love. So it fits for every one of us to turn around and show our unconditional love to our fellow human beings, to our fellow friends, to our fellow person, to show them, just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying that I accept every one of you. That's the lesson we have to learn. We have to act like HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Chanukah. We have to every person around us, we have to show that we're not judging. It's a yontif to back off judging other people. Don't think you know where other people are holding. It's a yontif of chaviva hi ad ma'od. It's a yontif of chavivas, where we show unconditional love because Hashem shows that to us. And now we come to a Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, everything pile on. Let's use it to sit back and learn the lessons of Chanukah. It would be such a shame if we go through Chanukah and all you gain is a few pounds from Sufganiyot. That is not what Chanukah is all about. It's all wonderful, latkes, and you're going to feel it after Chanukah. You're going to be pulling around a lot more. But let's hope it's not all physical. Let's understand that it has to be spiritual. We learn the lessons of Chanukah. We internalize Chanukah, Rosh Chodesh, Shabbos all together. And from that, every one of us will come out on the other side of Chanukah in a couple of days as different people. Good Shabbos, a freilich and Chanukah, and a good Chodesh.